I had a customer bring in a 2016 Nissan Altima last spring, 78,000 miles. The continuously variable transmission, or CVT, was shuddering so badly she thought she had a flat tire. When I asked about the last transmission fluid change, she looked at me like I had spoken a different language. The dealer told her at her last service that it was lifetime fluid, nothing to do. 14 months later, the CVT was dead. $4,800 to replace it, and she still owed 3 years on the loan. Right now, there is a transmission design sitting in millions of driveways that manufacturers know will fail before 100,000 miles. And there is an engine that mechanics quietly buy for themselves, one that crosses 400,000 miles without argument. I'm going to show you exactly which is which. One of these engines has a maintenance secret so simple that dealers will never breathe a word of it, because it costs them thousands every week in repairs they'd rather charge you for. The first thing they never told you is what lifetime fluid actually means. The most expensive lie in modern automotive history fits in 3 words: lifetime, no service. The CVT in your Nissan, your Subaru, your Honda was filled at the factory with fluid marked maintenance-free. Here is what that phrase means to the engineers who designed the transmission. CVT transmissions operate at higher temperatures than conventional automatics. The belt and pulley system that makes a CVT work generates friction across a vastly wider operating range than a traditional gear set. Fluid that goes in clean and clear comes out over 50,000 miles, looking like something you would drain from an old lawnmower. But the service manual says lifetime. The dealer repeats lifetime, and lifetime is what you paid for. But that is not even the real problem. The metal shavings are present. Every CVT generates microscopic metal particles as the steel belt contacts the pulleys under load. In a conventional automatic, a deep pan with a filter catches those particles before they recirculate. CVTs do not carry that level of filtration. Those particles go back through the system. They score the pulleys. They accelerate belt wear. And at some point, between 70,000 and 110,000 miles, in cars where that fluid was never changed, the contamination hits a threshold the transmission cannot absorb. Mechanics across Mechanic, Advice, Honda Tech, and in the YouTube shop of technicians like Eric the Car Guy all say the same thing. Change, CVT, the continuously variable transmission, fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles, regardless of what the sticker inside your door says. This is not optional maintenance. This is the difference between a $150 fluid service and what comes next. The CVT fluid change costs $80 to $150. The CVT replacement, when the fluid decision catches up with you, costs $3,500 to $8,200. And that is if you can find a quality remanufactured unit at all. The math is not complicated. What is complicated is why every service advisor still calls it lifetime. But the fluid lie is just the surface. What a class action lawsuit revealed about how this transmission was designed before it ever went into your car. That's something else entirely. Here's what Nissan doesn't want you to read. The Jatco CVT, installed in millions of Altimas, Rogues, Sentras, and Pathfinders from 2007 through 2018, was not a new design when it went into your car. It was a design that had already shown documented overheating problems in prior applications, and Nissan put it in anyway. And this is where it gets personal. The failure pattern is consistent across every owner forum thread, every technician diagnosis, and every NHTSA complaint filed in that decade. Stop-and-go traffic on a hot day, a modest grade on the highway, a light load that would not stress any conventional automatic on the market. The CVT temperature climbs. When it hits threshold, the transmission enters what engineers call thermal protection mode. Owners call it losing power on the freeway with no warning. NHTSA received complaint volumes from Nissan CVT owners during the 2013 to 2018 model year range that placed it among the highest powertrain complaint clusters in the agency's database for that period. Here's the part they really don't want you to know. Multiple class action lawsuits were filed against Nissan, specifically alleging that the company knew the Jatco CVT was prone to premature failure and concealed that information from buyers. Under that pressure, Nissan extended the CVT powertrain warranty on affected models to 7 years or 84,000 miles, well beyond standard coverage. Nissan did not do that because they felt generous. They did it because the failure rate was documented, and the lawsuits were waiting. The typical failure window documented across Nissan forums and owner communities runs from 80,000 to 120,000 miles. The extended warranty covers to 84,000 miles. That gap is not an accident. Owners who drove carefully, changed their fluid, and reached 90,000 miles were handed a bill between $4,800 and $8,200 and told their warranty had expired. And if you think Nissan is the only manufacturer playing this game, what I'm about to tell you about the engines mechanics actually choose for themselves will change how you shop for a car forever. Ask any independent mechanic what car they'd put their own kid in with their own money and watch the answer come back fast. They don't say Nissan Altima. They don't say Subaru with the Lineartronic CVT. They say Toyota Camry, 2.5 liter, conventional automatic. They say Honda Accord with the K24. They say it without hesitating because they've seen what comes through the shop door at 90,000 miles and they've made their own decision accordingly. Here's why. The Toyota 2GR FE V6 and the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder in the Camry and Avalon are chain-driven, naturally aspirated engines built around one engineering priority: longevity over headline numbers. On Toyota Nation, threads tracking high-mileage examples of these engines stretch back 15 years. The consensus does not waver. Change the oil on time, run quality full synthetic, and these engines do not ask for much. A man in Texas documented his 2007 Camry with the 2GR FE crossing 387,000 miles. Original engine, original automatic transmission, 2 timing chain services, nothing catastrophic. But here's what nobody's talking about. The engine's mechanics avoid are not always the worst engineered. They are the ones paired with the wrong transmission. Honda's 1.5-liter turbocharged engine, which powered the CR-V and Civic from 2017 onward, was the subject of a 2019 class action lawsuit alleging gasoline entered the oil supply in cold climates. Honda acknowledged the condition with a software update and never elevated it to a recall. That engine was capable of far better. Poor application decisions turned a capable design into a documented liability. The cost math on this should end the debate. A Toyota Camry 2.5-liter with the 8-speed conventional automatic, maintained properly, has documented community longevity past 300,000 miles. Total maintenance over that distance, oil changes, coolant flushes, one timing chain service, runs $8,000 to $10,000. That is roughly 3 cents per mile. A single Nissan CVT replacement at 90,000 miles costs more than 2 full years of that Camry's maintenance budget. The engines mechanics own are not a secret. They are just inconvenient for manufacturers trying to sell you a new car every 8 years. So here's what the owners who actually hit 500,000 miles do differently. They change CVT fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles, regardless of what any sticker or service menu says. They targeted the Toyota Camry 2.5-liter with the 8-speed conventional automatic, 2018 and newer, or the Honda Accord with the K24, 2003 through 2017. If they own a Nissan CVT vehicle from 2007 to 2018, they have the fluid history documented, or they are getting it changed this week. The math is this: 10 CVT fluid services over 400,000 miles cost $1,500. One CVT failure costs $8,200. That is the entire decision, written in 2 numbers. The engine's mechanics have been quietly buying for themselves are the Toyota 2GR FE and the 2.5-liter Dynamic Force 4-cylinder, chain-driven, naturally aspirated, paired with a conventional automatic. Not the flashiest spec sheets, just the ones that do not strand you at 90,000 miles with a repair bill bigger than the car's trade-in value. If this changed how you think about your next car, subscribe. I have a video coming on the exact model, years to buy and avoid across every Japanese brand. It's going to make this one look like a warm-up. The owners who hit 500,000 miles are not lucky. They simply refuse to be lied to about the fluid sitting in their transmission right now.